Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our rescheduled 15 ways to reallocate resources in 2021, which is actually part of our How to Deliver a Knockout Punch to COVID series. This is the part 5 of that series, which is presented by our partners at ActionCOACH. ActionCOACH provides business coaching methods to help entrepreneurs and owners overcome the challenges in maintaining a business. For those that are not familiar with SBDC, Texas State SBDC offers comprehensive training and business-related advising to small business owners and entrepreneurs. Advising services are at no cost due to federal, state, and local tax dollars that are prepaid for our services. Therefore, if you're not an SBDC client, I highly suggest you sign up for one. If you are, we cover 12 counties all the way from Georgetown, Round Rock, Austin, San Marcos. So if you're kind of outside of our coverage area, or you're not sure if you are in the coverage area, just drop your email below and I'll get in touch with you. A couple of housekeeping rules. Again, please use the chat box for any questions that you may have as far as Andy goes along with his PowerPoint. And we will have a Q&A at the end of the workshop, and then slides and handouts along with ActionCOACH's contact information will be emailed to you after. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away, Andy.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having me again today. Sorry, I need to get this in really quick so everybody in the house doesn't have to listen to me yell. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, welcome. 15 ways to reallocate resources in 2021. And we have not stopped. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, so here's something that we need to realize right now. If webinars, workshops, none of this stuff works unless you do. So I need you guys to take notes. I need you to take the best. I need you to leave the rest. Something that resonates with you, you get a BFO, I want you to write it down. Something that drives you to make a change in your business, I want you to write it down. We're going to have lots of time for questions. You can put them in the chat box. If I can't answer them right away, we will get back to you as quickly as we can. And we have worked in so many different industries, it's hard to list them all off, but we're glad you're here to share. And I think we're going to have more and more people jump in as we go today. All righty. So innovate and reallocate, right? So the 5 phases of the pivot process that you guys, that we all need to keep in mind is mindset matters. We're going to start it off with mindset matters. We're going to talk about pivots in the business. We're going to talk your products, your services, those pivots, marketing, sales pivots, and team and resource pivots. Because if you're still trying to do the same thing you were trying to do a year ago, I promise you, you're probably struggling. And I'm not saying that in judgment. I'm just saying that because that's what we're seeing. We're seeing businesses and businesses and businesses, and we're expecting over 1 million bankruptcies. And the question you have to answer today is that going to be you? Or is it not going to be you? So let's just jump right into mindset. So let's do this in the chat box. All of you included, nobody's out. Tell me, where is your mindset today? Are you inspired? Are you optimistic? Are you concerned? Are you anxious? Are you fearful? Dump that in the box for us right now. And I can hum the theme to the Jeopardy song if that makes it easier for everybody. All right, there we go. Perfect. Keep them coming. So what is your mindset today? Come on, we know you guys can do it. Oh, excellent. Thank you for being vulnerable, fearful. Love that. We have optimistic, we have anxious. And guess what, guys? While you're putting all of that in the box, everybody goes through all of these emotions every day. Every day. If you're not, our founder talks about, if you're not a little bit excited and a little bit scared every day, you're not living. And I think that's where business is today, is that we need to start looking at it as, how do I make my way through this? Not be frozen. All right, so how many of you guys have ever heard of the line of decision or the point of power? And we talk about mindset like this, you know, below the line or below the point of power. So who do you know that blames everybody for their blames everybody for their problems, makes excuses why they happen, and denies that they have anything to do with it. Put that person in your mind right now. Put that person in your mind. The next question I want you to answer, is it you? Are you blaming people for your problems, making excuses and denying you have anything to do with it? Are you living above the line with ownership, accountability, and responsibility? That's a powerful. And, if you're blaming excuses denial, you are a victim. And we must continue to look at it. So if you look at ownership, accountability, responsibility, ownership is today. Accountability is in the future, and responsibility is in the past. We must continue to move forward, especially elevate and focus your mindset every day. Because here's the deal. Mindset is about a conscious choice. So here's something I want you guys to write down right now. How many of you guys have ever had a bad day? Or raise your hand or smile. How many of you guys have ever had a bad day? Right? What happens with that bad day? One thing happens and then 10 other things happen and then 10 other things happen because we're looking for problems. It is a choice. You're allowed to have a bad 7 to 8 minutes and then you need to move on. And I know some of you are like, yeah, that's BS. Well, believe it or not, it does work. All right, so let's talk about mindset, the responsibility process, right? So denial, blame, justification, shames, quit, maybe don't quit, obligation, and responsibility. That's what we must look at is where are we at? And again, every one of us go through that blame, denial, excuses. But again, it is a choice to take responsibility. And again, responsibility allows us to navigate through all of these areas and to talk about them. And maybe you're like me, maybe some days you're having, I call them staff meetings, where I'll sit in my office and I'll be talking to myself and people are coming in going, what are you doing? I'm having a staff meeting with myself because I'm trying to figure it out. I'm talking myself through it. So again, responsibility must be chosen, not delegated. So how many of you guys have ever heard the story of the Titanic? Let's see a show of hands. Put it in the box. I see some of you are using the box, some of you are not. But think about this. Everybody around us always only see the results, just like the Titanic, right? The Titanic, you only saw the top of the iceberg. So what it was is people see from us, they see from me my results. They see my actions, they see my decisions because of the results, and they see my behaviors, whether I'm grumpy, I'm happy, I'm excited. Oh, by the way, I have lots of energy. I talk super fast. I need you guys to listen faster, take faster notes, type questions in, write a question down, throw it up. I will be happy to answer those. But at the end of the day, our behaviors matter. Our behaviors matter. And we're in the mindset phase. Below the surface, this is where it gets complicated. Skills, beliefs, values, and identity. Most people, they see our results. They don't understand our skills. They don't know what we're capable of. They don't know what our belief systems, whether it's a belief in self or faith or whatever your beliefs are in. And what are your values? What are your morals? And what do you relate to as your identity? We must consistently look at this because there's this little thing out here that's going on today. How many of you get up in the morning, turn on the TV? Please tell me nobody does that. The environment today is suffocating. The environment today is suffocating for business owners like yourself because it's always doom and gloom. So my first piece of advice is turn the news off. Second thing about it is look for real information so that your environment is protected. Look to control and protect your environment every day. That's what it's all about. Because if you can protect your environment and you can control some controls of your environment, then that will relate to your actions, decisions, behaviors, because you are in control of only you. And this is all about mindset. And I have had a lesson, a hard lesson in life over the last month. I'm not going to go into it, but I had to resign myself as general manager of the universe. I had to realize that I am not in control of Snowvid 2020. I'm not in control of other things. I had to relinquish that and only be able to control myself and my choices. So today, participation. You give me 100%, I'll give you 100% back. That's why I keep asking you guys to participate. Hey, raise your hands. Hey, put information in the box. You will not learn if you do not engage. It's plain and simple. And again, I'm not going to be telling you anything that you've never heard before. I'm going to be redressing it and re-educating you for business abundance education. So again, participate, folks. Now, phase 2. An organization, no matter how well designed, is only as good as the people who live it and work it. All right, what pivots are required in my business structure? Now, this probably gives people a little fearful. Maybe you're a solopreneur. Maybe you're doing everything. But what do we have to do? How does your organization have to shift? Roles, shift in the business facing internal and market facing external. How do we need to move people around? Let's see a show of hands here. In your business, if you're a solopreneur, raise your hand. If you have employees, raise your hand. I want to know, what shifts have you had to do? What shifts had you had to do in your business? And I'll let you guys put that in the box and I'll keep going. But what other cost structure pivots have you had to make? You know, what inbound and outbound delivery models are there? And I'll talk about this for a second. Early on, it's so interesting to me, and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, these inbound and outbound delivery models for people is, what are we waiting for them to come to us? So these people have rebuilt, started drive-through, started carry out, started going to people for the business. And now what they're doing is they're like, well, now that we're opening back up, I'm going to go back to the old way of doing business. Stop that. Now you have created a profit center. That's an organizational shift. How can you continue to add that to your business to help your business? Right? So 2021, some of it's opening back up. We're talking third strain. We're talking second strain. We're talking vaccinations. And, you know, we can have that debate all day, but I hope you're making the choice best for you and your business. But what's your weak link? What is your weak link in your business? Write it down. Take a moment, write it down. What is your weak link? And again, the question comes back, is it you? Is it you? And again, resolution, innovate. What if you identify your weak link, what is it you need to do with that weak link now? What is it you need to do with that weak link now? So if we look at this, who'd like to share? What is the weak link in your business? What is the weak link? If you guys could put it in the chat box, I'd really appreciate it. Me. Thank you so much. Cash flow, that's a weak link. Great. Anybody else want to pipe in there? So the question about the weak link is, what are you doing to help move it forward? So we had me. I've often said that. One of the things you probably see on your little screen there of pictures is our COO. You might recognize the last name. Yes, my son, he would call me the weak link on occasion for the things that I don't get done. But as we look at all the changes, what 1% changes are you making daily to influence your business? So write that down. What 1% changes are you making in your business to improve it? And that will help with the weak link. So everybody's heard about Microsoft and Apple, and we've heard all about these companies, Tesla, and oh my God, they've hit it so big and they're so wonderful, and I want a business like that. Well, frankly, people, they didn't start like that. They had to do all the work that you're doing today in order to help themselves get there. So we look at business structure. What pivots are required in my measurements? Now, this is something, and one of the things that the SBDC does so well, and they are good for all businesses, is they help you track things in your business. So measurements, write this down: test and measure. Test and measure. You cannot measure what you don't test, and you cannot measure anything if you don't write it down. And it has to be more than revenue and profit. When you talk about the activities in the business, what are the activities that have to be made day after day in order for the company to move forward? And if you look at it, what are the new standards for KPIs? And those are key performance indicators by team, by role. Is it average dollar sale? Is it number of transactions? How do we help them move forward? And so, I know there's some different types of businesses here, but it goes to the cadence of activities. Consistency wins. Are you scheduling your people to have appointments in 3 and 4 and 6 week increments? And I'll say this, and we learned this really many, many times over, but it's really interesting. We just came back from the death of my mother. And I don't say that for sympathy, but it goes to cadence. My mother would have been mortified. The day that she had the surgery, she was supposed to get her hair done. And it was 6 weeks later. And it was really interesting because her beautician came in and did such a wonderful job. But she was on a schedule every 3 weeks, regardless. I can remember last summer, the summers before that, she'd go to the cabin, but she would come back on that 3 week time frame to have her hair done. So what is the proper cadence of activities, daily, weekly, monthly, for your business? What are the outcomes of the activities? That's probably the most critical part of it that we have to look at is outcomes. And you start with the end in mind and you work yourself back. So if you want cash flow and you want profit, you have to measure, okay, I want $2,000 this week. Great. So what do you have to do every day? Or I want $10,000 or $1 million. I don't care the size of your business, but if you start with that, you can back into sales calls, appointments. You can back into every KPI that you need. And that's where the metrics in the scorecard go. And yes, I have a scorecard too. I can tell you, I used to think they were hooky, all these things. But now that I've started doing them, it really is helping me dial in. And yes, I know Tanner's laughing on this call because I don't always do them right. But the idea is I'm seeing the metrics now in real time and knowing I need to do more. So when you talk about measurements, the most critical drivers in this are communication. So who would like to put in the box their definition of communication? And this can be anybody on the call. What is your definition of communication? Come on, don't be shy, everybody. Remember participation. I can back up 6 slides. Nobody? Wow. All right, guys, I'll throw it out here. The definition of communication is the true response you get. And by the response I just got, I don't know what's happening. There we go. Two-way messaging. Thank you. All right. Love it. Love it. And again, that's what we're trying to do. It is the communication side of it. The true response we get. How do we get people to do what we need them to do, or a guided tour, right? Train on new activities, outcomes, and measurements. This is key. You can't advocate to your employees and then get mad at them if they do it wrong. You must teach, train, delegate expectations, outcomes, let them go. All right, poll right now in your business, throw it on the board. What is your greatest business challenge right now? Go ahead, you can do it. What is your greatest business challenge right now? Capacity. Yep, excellent. Thank you so much, Peg. Who else? I see some cash flow from before. So when we look at businesses, thank you, right? Team members, perfect. We know that in business, there are 3 areas that every business struggles with. It's team, time, or money. Team, time, or money. Putting the right team in place, having time to do the things that need to be done. And at the end of today, I'm going to show you a little diagram. I'm going to work a process through to show you that. And then money, profitability. It is interesting to me that a lot of businesses and even banks are constantly talking to you about your revenue. We're talking cash flow. We focus on helping you build profitability into everything that you do. And whether it's margin or markup, we have to start talking about what does that look like. So, how does your product or service need to pivot, right? So as we look at this is also interesting to me is, what are the new needs of your customers? I mean, think about, I don't know how old you guys are. I'm old enough. I was in the building product industries from 1994 through 2010. And I lived through the Great Short. And I lived through the housing crisis because we were in it. And what I found interesting is the companies that didn't anticipate the new needs of customers. So, are you selling toilet paper? I know that was a big thing a couple of months ago. It was a year ago. I apologize. It was, oh my gosh, it's a year. And so we need to continue to look at what are the products and services that I need to add to my business? What do I need to do? How do I need to change it? Only you can determine what it needs to be. And here's the one thing that I want you guys to remember. I call it market research. If you're looking for a new product or service or something to pivot in your business, go look at what your competitors are doing. Are they doing something that will allow you to expand your business? Right? That's number 2, right? Pivot your products or service to meet those new needs. Because what are the new needs right now? How will you shift your offerings in the marketplace? How will you let them know? And again, how will you deliver your product and service? Are you going to them? Are you going to see them? Are we doing it virtually? I know there's a lot of Zoom fatigue out there, folks. I get it. But this isn't going away. All right. Additional product and service considerations. How will the changes impact your brand reputation? Brand reputation. Are you creating new intellectual property? If you're doing that, do you have an attorney? Because the product and service pivots is super big. I mean, think about it. Taxi cabs now it's Uber and it's Lyft. I haven't ridden in a taxi in so long, unless of course you fly to Las Vegas where the taxis still have a major control. But most of the time it's Uber or Lyft. That came out of the problems in 2006, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And what education is required to communicate your changes? What do you need to learn? And first off, I thank you all for being here. This is about expansion. This is about growth. Today, we are talking about education, right? And again, remember, it's take the best, lose the rest. All right. Marketing pivots. Look, if you have stopped marketing or you're not spending any money on marketing, shame on you. The one interesting thing, and I know some of you are going, well, maybe I don't have the money to market. Maybe there's no funding. Okay, but there's lots of things that you can do in marketing to drive your business. Right. So what is your unique selling proposition? and with them, right? Write this down right now. USP stands for unique selling proposition. I know Tanner's going to put it in the box. And with them, this is the part that always intrigues me. People write marketing based upon what we want. What does Andy want? What does Andy need? That is the exact opposite of what you need to be doing. What you think about your product is irrelevant compared to what the people in the marketplace want. It's with them stands for what's in it for me. Thank you, Tanner, for putting it in the box. But you have to write your messaging about what will they gain from you that by buying your product or going to you for service. And then once you get that message done, what changes needed to be made in your marketing budget? Now, look, here's some easy marketing tips 101. If you have a marketing list and you have customers, by all means, pick up the dang gum phone. Get them on Zoom, send them an email, send them a newsletter. People don't know what they don't know. And I find it so intriguing when I talk to business owners. Well, you know, so-and-so was a loyal customer and then they went and bought from Bob. Well, that's because Bob was probably sending them 50 messages letting them know that he's still alive. His business is doing well and he wants his business. Because that goes to engaging your customers to interact with you in the market. You know, I could spend an entire, if you guys want a marketing webinar, let Francisca know. I will be happy to do a marketing webinar and just talk about over the 160 different marketing strategies that could be put into place today. But again, you need to pivot your marketing. You need to get up and do something. And I've said that for the last year and people seem to forget. Well, there's only one of me. I must do the work. Well, here's the novel thought that goes with it. And this goes into our practice. Between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., you do what makes you money. Between 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. and 7 a.m., you do all the things that need to be done outside of it. And I know that sounds harsh, and I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt, but today, it's all about moving your business in the right direction. Marketing engagement pivots. We just talked about communicate, educate on changed offers, existing customers, former customers, pipeline, prospects, database, new target markets. Look, if one of your competitors has gone out of business, how do you go by that list? And I don't know what business you're in, but again, we have to communicate with existing customers, former customers, pipeline, prospects, and database. We must continually look and send a message to those people on our list. All right. It always seems organizations that are resource constrained that can come up with good ideas to win. How does your team need to pivot? Resources equal leverage. Ever more with ever less. Now, I talked to a business owner last night. I was talking to a husband and wife couple. They own a coffee shop in Ames, Iowa. And they are actually break even, they were actually break even through COVID. And what was really interesting to me was this question. How much did you pay yourself during that time frame, or did you just do all the work? And the answer was, we probably paid ourselves $10 an hour and we just did all the work. They weren't leveraging their resources. They were reacting to the environment around them. So with your team, what are the new different tasks that have to be done for the business adjustments that you have identified? Right? And again, folks, this takes time. In order to do the things I'm asking you, you're going to have to sit down and have a little bit of thinking time. You're going to have to sit down and look at your business through another lens. And we can talk about 90-day planning. We have one of those coming up next week, but you must look at your business differently. Right. And how can you redeploy the team to cover all required tasks? I've talked to 100 businesses over the last year and in the last 10 years of doing this. One of the interesting things is a lot of them with the disaster loan didn't want to lay off their teams. But as it kept going on, they had to start looking at, what about bad team members? Do we fire one and hire one, or does that go against you? Because this is the time, if you're in business and you have bad team members, it's time to remove them and replace them with better team members, right? Because they're the ones that can cover all the required tasks. There's a great saying out there: you give a busy person something to do, it will always get done. You give a lazy person something to do, they will keep asking you for more time to get it done. Find that person that wants to do better. And I call that a give a you know what gene. And there are hundreds of employees out there. And I know some of you will be going, no, I can't hire anybody. Well, we'll talk about payment and resources later when it comes to that. But more importantly, for your team, what new skills, processes, and trainings must be developed and implemented? For all of our customers and for the SBD customers, we do weekly and bi-weekly training on all different types of subjects for team members of businesses. Why do we do that? Because we want to keep educating them. All right, here we go. Reallocation pivots. And we're just finishing up here. Team reallocation roles, responsibilities, and tasks. Write it down. Fire yourself as general manager of the universe. Use leverage. If you're not good at accounting, pay somebody to do your accounting. If you're not good with marketing, there are people out there that can do it for you. Read a book, go to a webinar, or team reallocate. If somebody's good at some of the social media stuff and you're not, give it to a teammate. Systems and processes. You cannot build a house if you start with the roof. You cannot build the house if you start with the roof. Systems and processes are the foundational improvements in your business. Now, maybe you've been in business for a while. Maybe you've been around for 10, 12 years. So maybe you have cracks in your foundation. Go back, fix the cracks to move it forward, right? So now inventory, right? Raw inventory. If you're in retail, right in time manufacturing. Anymore, the same coffee shop was talking about, well, we don't have all the syrups and chocolates and all those things up there. Well, great. You can get them in a day. Are they a revenue creator or are they a revenue problem? If you're just turning dollars, get rid of it. Sell your excess inventory. Get rid of it so you can release cash flow, right? Facilities and equipment. What equipment and facility changes do you need to make? Now, if you're a manufacturer and you don't know what else to do, go look at what else does this company do with the machines that they sell. And is there something else that you need to change or retool a piece of equipment? And the easiest one to remember is this: all of the Tito's and all of these vodka companies switched immediately to making antibacterial gel. Why? Because they could. Why? Because it's a pivot. Why? Because they could continue to have cash flow, even though we can joke about it, but alcohol sales have been up for the last year. Finances, cash flow management. I've said it a couple of times. If you're turning dollars on a product or service, you're not helping your business. If it's just bringing dollars in the door, that's not helping your business. How can you change that to allow you to have cash flow, revenue, profitability on every part in your business? Whether you're a hairdresser, a manufacturer's rep, a retail outlet, I don't care what it is. Whether you have to look at what are ways that we can raise our prices rather than discounting it. And yes, I have a chart. We can talk about that all day. It does work. All right, to finish up, list 5 ideas you need to take action on today. So I'm going to just give it about 1 minute, 2 minutes. I want you to look at your notes. I want you guys and ladies, I want you to look at your notes. I want you to list 5 ideas you need to take action on today. And if you're brave enough, I want you to put 1 in the box. And I have 1 exercise that we're going to be doing here before we get done with this today. Better marketing. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. and there's a great question. Tanner just jumped on with that. What problem does your business solve? Write that down. That's a great one. Oh, client outreach. Thank you very much. Perfect. I mean, think about it for a second when you talk about client outreach. So I'm 52. I remember when I started my career in manufacturing consulting and repping back in 1994, we had pagers, roll fax machines. The plain paper was just coming out. I always loved that. You get a fax from somebody, you'd stick it in your dash, and then you'd have to call them and have them tell you what it says. And we had payphones. Folks. It's amazing what I can remember back then because you had to pull up and call on a payphone. So what actions do you need to take today? Brittany, anything? Miriam, would you like to add on here? Francesca? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Change mindset. Love it. All right. Are you guys ready to develop your 90-day leadership plan? Are you guys looking for that? One of the things that we talk about is everybody here today is going to receive a free business strategy session. Everybody here, it's a $2,000 value. The SBDC has graciously granted all of the business owners that are doing this. And what does that help you with? That is a strategy session to allow you to move your business forward. And we have a 90-day leadership plan and a 90-day planning next week. If you haven't or aren't signed up with the SBDC, you need to get in contact with them. Peg, Francesca, we need to get you in their system, right? So that you can receive the valuable tools that we're using, they're using to help move businesses forward. Plan and action right here. Flight, fight, or freeze. We need you guys to keep fighting. We need you to keep fighting. We need you to keep working your business. We need you to keep being humble to ask for help. Because I'll tell you this much, this is our third business. I have a coach. My team has coaches because I know I don't know everything. The SBDC, they have great resources and great business leaders in their organization that will help you. All right. What is business coaching? I always put this in. It's a business apprenticeship where you grow your existing business so it more than pays for your investment in a customized business education, which you get to keep for free. So how do you eliminate losing your business? Are you a laggard or you're an early adopter? So I'll use this really quickly. Are you running your business off of a P&L and a balance sheet? Because if you run your business off of a P&L and balance sheet the month after, you are a laggard. Those are lagging indicators. If you have a cash flow forecast or a cash flow in your business, 6-12 weeks, you're going to be able to be an early adopter because you're going to be able to see before anybody. All right. And this is what I talked about in the beginning. Research shows that 85% of people who attend a workshop or a webinar leave and do nothing. Please, please, please take something out of this and change your business tomorrow or today. And then we have the pivot strategy session. And I want to stop my share and I want to do a little exercise for everybody. So we're going to jump into questions here really quick, but I want to just show you, can you guys see my screen okay? Can you see this, Francesca, on the board? Hang on, there. So everybody in your business is worth something, right? So here's what I want you to look at really quickly. I draw this on your paper. And I want you guys to tell me, what is your business worth? So for ease of use, I'm going to use $1 million up here. Now that may be a little far-fetched for some of you. Oh, I got them all in the wrong spots, but $1 million business. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at this chart and I want you to say, okay, so in my business, my employees make what? So let's go over here and put 1250. Let's put $15 an hour. Let's put $18 an hour. So let's say this is a coffee shop. Okay, this is a well-run coffee shop. Maybe it's a franchise, but let's say they're doing $1 million a year. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and divide it by 2,000 hours. Why would I divide it by 2,000 hours, anybody? To find out the value of the business per hour. So we take $1 million, we divide it by 2,000, we end up with $500 an hour. Okay, so over here, what is this? Okay, we're doing customer service. We're making sandwiches, coffee. We are cleaning. We are managing people. Oh, by the way, I'm very creative. If you can't read my writing, it's because I have more than one way to spell a word. Managing people, right? And they're big markers. They don't write very well. But on this side of the equation over here, this is what people see. This is very forward-facing, very much visible to the public. Would you guys agree? Excellent. So that's what it sees. So let's say the business is worth $500 an hour. So what does the business do? It plans. It manages cash flow. What else does it do? What else does the business do? Pays people. Takes care of the owner. What else could it be doing? So when you look at it like this, the business is supposed to be doing all of these things over here. This is visible. This is invisible. But what we end up finding out is many of owners that I talk to, and I've got some over here, I've got some on the floor, many of the owners think that instead of training somebody, I'm just going to go do it. So you're worth $500 an hour as a business owner, or whatever your factor is. And every time you come over here and you make coffee, or you clean, or you're managing the manager and you're circumventing her and managing the people, you are losing money. And every one of these, this is $482 or $482 an hour. This one is $480 an hour or $85 an hour. This one over here, you get the drift. Every time you as a business person do something, but you need to realize that every time you don't delegate and you don't train, your business loses an enormous amount of money every hour because you're not doing it. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Francesca.
Yes.
Questions today.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Andy. What we want to do right now is I want to just bring your attention to a couple of things. In the chat box, if you can, please take a minute or so just to complete our survey. It kind of tells us how we did today and maybe if there's something in the future that you want to see SBDC present. And again, if you are not an SBDC client, I've dropped a link in there for you to go ahead and sign up. Our services are at no cost, so take advantage of that. Any upcoming workshops that we have, I've plugged in the link. I will be having some workshops as it relates to QuickBooks coming up. I haven't put those on our website, but as soon as I do, that link right there will have all that updated information. Again, if you have any further questions, you have the SBDC email there. You're more than welcome to send me any emails. And with that, I want to open it up for any questions. If it's a little bit easier for you to take yourself off the chat, you're more than welcome to do that.
You're welcome, Paul. Appreciate it. Any questions before you take off today? Okay. You're welcome, Brittany. Any questions we can help you with? It's a quiet bunch today. The 90-day training. All right. So Francesca, is it okay to talk about the 90? Paul, first off, are you a client of the SBDC? We have to follow process. Yes, perfect. Okay, so what I want you to do is we have 90-day training. It is next week. Brittany, great. We have 90-day training. But we want you to take advantage of the BSS, which is a business strategy session, and that will lead us into doing the 90-day planning. Because you come in blind, it'll be very hard for us to not show you first. But so what I would like you to do is I want you to get a hold of Francesca. Sorry, I'm pointing at her. She's over here. And she will lead you. We will send the links and the signups to Francesca. And what is 90-day training? Okay, so 90-day training is this, where we help you work through the next quarter of your business. And it's an entire day event. What we do is we start at 9 a.m. and we go till 4 or 5, depending on when you get done with your plan. But we walk you through all of the areas in your business, and we have a scorecard. And what we do is that day is devoted to you. You'll be working on it with 40 or 50 other clients here in the Austin Metroplex, but you will start with foundational mastery, whether it's money, time, destination delivery. We work the niche, which is USP, guarantee, and then that's where predictable cash flow, conversion rates, average dollar sale. There is over 200 points or 210 points that we go through this training. And then you build yourself a 90-day plan where you have tasks and action items every week over the next 90 days to move your business forward. And what does that mean? It's each week. We break it into each week. You'll have a task. You'll have all of your goals set up. So let's say you have 13 goals or 8 goals or 10 goals, whatever it is. And then what you'll have is you'll have a task, no more than 2 tasks and action items a week over the next 13 weeks to be able to move your business forward. It is one of the best programs that we have. It's high intensity, but it allows you to work your business off based on the goals rather than reactive day after day.
And I would just like to state, if you, Brittany or Paul, if you end up doing any of these, just please get with ActionCOACH as far as if there's any fees related to that, because that's not associated with as far as SBDC services. If you need advising or if you have any specific related questions, please, if you have an advisor, reach out to them, or you're more than welcome to send me an email if you have any further questions about that, okay? And then I'll make sure to make contact with Andy or Tanner related to those questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. I didn't realize that wasn't on the docket, so forgive me, but the free business strategy session is also in play here, and that also has to go through Francesca, just to make sure we can track all of this.
Awesome. And with that, we'll close it out. Again, if you have any questions, email SBDC or email your advisor. If they have questions related to this, they'll get with me. And I want to thank everybody. Have a great rest of your week. If you have somebody that may, this information may be a valuable resource to them, we're going to have another one on Thursday with Dr. Hartley presenting that one. That link you can find on our website as well. With that, thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.